Hello!
No one can see you. Also, we're crooked.
Chow.
You don't have a tripod, so
Yeah.
it's like gorilla style.
I got a blanket on me because I'm badass.
We're having a movie marathon time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have no tripod, and so we have a limited stack of DVDs.
And
so
as you can tell from like the yellow wall behind us, we're at my parents'-in-law's.
Yeah. Basically, I'm cat sitting, and she's come over to join me, and we decided to watch the Feast trilogy because I'd never seen it before, but I know it's a horror.
She'd been bugging me to watch it for a while, and I was like, "They made a trilogy about your favorite ice cream bar? What?" That's a thing in the UK.
Feast is amazing. It's like chocolate on the outside. You get chocolate ice cream, and then on the very outside, you've got like more chocolate, and it's all frozen. It's awesome. Blanket.
Except fleece blankets. So basically, there's a lot of horrible people in a bar, including Jason Mewes, who's credited as himself, which is kind of awesome. Yeah. And it's like a little bit weird because we just saw the movie with him in it too. So it was like, Jason Mewes again?
Bitten in Vampire Apocalypse. I really wanted someone to be like, Jason Mewes, you were the bomb in Vampire Apocalypse, yo.
Bitten in the UK and Canada.
No, bitten in America and Canada.
It's
Vampire Apocalypse here.
But
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a little bit tongue-in-cheek because I had like little captions like, this person, life expectancy, what they do.
Yeah.
And like everyone that they said, oh, they'll live a long time.
And the life expectancy thing is always bullshit.
Yeah. Like, the wee boy died very quickly.
Yeah, and
although the African-American guy did not die first, he died second.
And Judah Friedlander, who they said in the thing was going to die first, did not die first, but he got vomited on and sort of all melted and shit.
And didn't I say, I was like, it'd be really funny if he just keeps getting progressively more and more injured, but he stays around because he's annoying. He was really annoying. Really
Judah Friedlander from, 30 Rock. That's it. The show my dad likes.
And then there was this old bartender who you had to Google immediately.
So I was like, I recognize him, and it's like, holy shit, he was in so many things. They forget the guy's name, but he was the boss of the two idiots in Return of the Living Dead, and he was old in that.
Everything, like.
So he's like really old in this.
Westerns in the 1950s. He's been on Murder, She Wrote. He's been on MacGyver.
Yeah.
He's done voice work. He's been on Beavis and Butthead. Like, she just kept saying, "Oh, he was in this. Oh my God, he was in that."
Yep. So
you just have this like revelation, and apparently
he's one of our favorite people.
He's in all three of these movies. So
yeah,
that's a cat.
There was cats around.
Yeah, there's three of them noodling about. One fell asleep on me earlier. It was cute.
That was a cat upstairs.
Okay, I thought it was like an explosion from the fireplace. So.
No, that was a cat knocking something over upstairs.
Oh. At least it wasn't an explosion from the fireplace. Yay. So basically, this guy shows up after like the establishing scenes of everyone's awfulness. And it's like, oh, guys, people are coming. There's monsters and blood, and you gotta do what I say, because I'm trying to be Bruce Campbell. And then he gets his head eaten off.
That was, the guy, the captain in The Last Ship, which I don't know why I watch while I'm editing, but...
Me either, because you're like, oh, this show is so horrible. Oh, it's a conservatives wank fest. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, season 3!
Yeah, it's basically like the complete inverse of Sense8, which is like the liberal wank fest.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you do this, like, oh, which bad show are you watching now? Oh, it's the second season of James Patterson's Zoo. And I'm like, oh, you mean when he tried to do sci-fi and have someone else write it and it was really shit? Yeah, well, the second season's of that time.
Well, when I'm editing, I choose shows, and if a show is sufficiently bad enough, I will not watch
What's that one that's
ones.
Like Clueless, but it has Jamie Lee Curtis as a bad guy who has
it's Scream Queens. That was amazing.
Prion disease. Or she has Creutzfeldt-Jakob or something.
Scream Queens was amazing.
See, the thing is, I'll lose track of what she's watching because I'll be playing a video game because my supervisor has told me, look, you know, you're in your first year of your PhD, you're not going to have free time after this, you better get some gaming in now. So, like, sometimes at night, you know, I'll be like, oh, I have to go quietly and assassinate the things. And then I'll get confused of what show she's watching. Like, I'll think she was just... Because she would be, like, just watching Stranger Things. And then switch over to, like, The Walking Dead or, like, something else. Like, what was the one where there was, like, Aboriginals in the Dreamtime kind of one? And there was a zombie outbreak kind of...
Clever Man.
Yeah, and then I'm like, is this still Stranger Things? No, that was 3 shows ago. Oh, right.
Well... To be fair, when I'm editing, I generally edit for like 6 hours at a time, so I can get like a half or a quarter of an entire series of a show, depending on the length of the show, out in one go. So, But like currently I'm watching Britannia while I'm editing.
Right.
Or at least I will be when I'm in the
the
flat.
1980s Cleopatra, and that was kind of weird.
Oh, the Ptolemies?
Yeah.
I want to use that. I want to do a historical video based on that.
But yeah, so anyway, like, there's these monsters. It's never really... It's one of those things where you don't know why they're there, or what they are, or what their thing is, where they come from. They have no weaknesses.
It's extremely tongue-in-cheek with the monsters because... Well, you have one bit where there's two of them and they're humping over someone's car, starting off the car alarm. Another bit, they accidentally castrate one of the monsters, and it's...
Yeah, you're never given any kind of, like, this is how it be, this is the origin story. Even though they set that up, because there's, like, this really, really, really old prostitute who's just sitting at the bar drinking the whole entire time.
And then this guy's like,
oh, come on, Grandma, spill it! Old people know things. They know, like,
folk
myths
tales
and legends and stuff. And she's like, leave me alone, damn it. I don't know anything. I just lay low.
So yeah, it was playing with the tropes of this sort of horror film, which I really, really liked.
And I like, there's a hero and heroine. That's what they're like actually named, and they both end up dying. But they were the first ones to encounter the monsters, and this was after dropping off their wee girl at her mother's house, like her granny's house, you know, for the night. And so when the heroine dies, spoilers, she's like, oh, here's the address where my daughter is. And so the survivors are like, oh, we'll just go and pick her up. We'll get her out of here. And I'm like, take her away from, like, the only family she has left. Oh, guess what? Your mom and dad, who you just saw last night, died violently and horribly. Now we're going to take you away from your granny's house where you were safe. And I said it would be really great if, like, that was, like, the final thing when they got there. And she's like, I know. I summoned the creatures. And it's like it was like Evil Child Witch that did it.
I got the feeling this whole film was inspired by someone watching From Dusk Till Dawn and deciding they wanted to make a film just out of the best bits of the film, which was obviously the vampires like killing everyone in the titty twister. Obviously, the better half of Dusk Till Dawn is the first half, but the actual initial vampire attack is magnificent. So that's what I think. That someone watched that and was like, I want to stretch that into a 90-minute film. And then they sort of crossed it. They used the tone, basically, of Tremors, but slightly gorier.
Yeah.
You see enough
I've
films.
never seen Tremors.
You've never seen Tremors?
No, I never came up.
Well,
You've
that's
watched,
good.
look at you.
That is good. The Tremors monsters are in the
literally-
ground, and if they come up, you die.
That's funny. You've literally seen every movie ever.
No, I haven't.
I do other things at my time.
I have not seen every movie ever.
You've seen more than me.
I have a big stack of DVDs over there of films that I haven't seen
You
yet.
should take a picture of all the... We went through, like, literally half of her DVD collection to pull out some movies to watch. We settled on, like, 2 serious films, 3 documentaries, and 2 parody ones, but the parody ones are both... What's your man's name?
Stephen Chow films.
Yeah, so they're subtitled.
And these, and you know, I know you're all thinking, Hagan has a copy of Kung Fu Hustle. I'm like, no, I don't have a copy of Kung Fu Hustle or the Alien.
I've
one
seen
that came
Kung Fu
after
Hustle
that.
years ago.
For me, Stephen Chow hit his zenith at Shaolin Soccer. However, I also like his stuff before Shaolin Soccer. My personal favourite Stephen Chow film was The God of Cookery.
Which is like one of the DVDs that's like holding up the camera right
And
now.
the other one that Omega chose was Forbidden City Cop, which was his James Bond parody, but it's actually, it's set in ancient China.
We haven't watched it yet.
So it's like, I'm a guard, he's working for the Emperor, and they even have a James Bond intro to it. You know, the sort of parting. It's great.
And there's like samurai, wrong country. There's ancient
Warriors
Chinese
and everything.
warriors in Confucian dress.
Yes, but we ended up watching the 13th Warrior, which, you know, she was like, oh, that's amazing.
No, because here's the thing. All right, so I saw the trailer, and this was right on the tails of Evita, and I was like, oh, Antonio Banderas. I think he's really good. And so I was supposed to go see it with my best friend, and I called her up. I'm like, do you want to go see 13th Warrior this weekend? And she's like, yeah, sure. And then it was like, no, I can't. And then it was, oh, yeah, let's. And then it was, no, I can't. So, like, she, like, bailed on me, like, literally as I was walking the door to go pick her up. And I was like, fine, fuck it. And I stayed home and got drunk. And I never actually ended up seeing it. And I wish I had seen it, because it was really good. I enjoyed it.
It is good.
You were like, oh, it's your man. And I'm like, who? And I'm like, in Doctor Who. And I'm like, all right.
Tony Curran. I squeed it when I saw Tony Curran. It's been the first time since I'd seen it since probably 15, 20 years. I still have affection for it. There are problems, obviously, if you know the production history, but also the Vikings costuming is ridiculously anachronistic.
I feel like if it was released now, it would be boycotted because the Muslim's a good guy. Go figure. Well, he's also played by
Spanish guy.
So.
Actually,
because there's a long history of Islam in Spain. And stuff
yeah,
like that
they
through
were
various, like...
They were in charge for, like, 600 years.
invasions and whatnot. So that's actually pretty sound. Quite honestly.
I would love to see an adaptation of Eaters of the Dead turned into like a TV miniseries, sort of done more
like
gorier than that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Starring
Netflix.
You know, sort of like in the vein of Vikings, it would be pretty badass. Or even if they want to be really silly with a late, like Series 12 of Vikings. What are they going to do now? We've done Leif Erikson, what can we do? I got an idea. Let's make a whole series that's Eaters of the Dead for no reason.
You know, that's a really cool thing about Netflix and Amazon to a limited extent, is the fact that, like...
Well, Vikings is History Channel.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, the availability of, oh, let's just make a 1 or 2 series television show.
Yeah.
Is the fact that, like, stuff that never would have gotten network money or, like, Hollywood money, now, like... places like Netflix and Amazon streaming are like, oh, actually, no, this is pretty good. Let's throw a bit of money at it. Oh, look, it's a success.
Yeah, their business model just, it seems to be okay with just spending money on random shit and...
like properties that you would have never... I mean, I'm not into the Shannara... I never read the Shannara books, but apparently the people who were in it were really pleased to see a Netflix adaptation, although I think it only got 1 season.
I think it got 2 series, and I think it was Amazon.
Was it Amazon? I never paid attention.
I thought it looked like piss. John Rhys Davies as an elf? What the fuck?
Well, here's the thing. Apparently, like, Shannara is, like... I heard it on the fantasy subreddit, which you should go to, because a lot of times famous authors will pop up in chat. We're talking about it when it first, was produced, and some people were like, oh, I remember those books, and the top comment described the Shannara books as those books that you read when, like Terry Goodkind, when you're first getting into fantasy, when you're like, 13 or 14, you're like, oh my god, fantasy! Shit! Balls! It's so much more than Tolkien, oh my god! And then you go back and read it when you're like 25 or 30, and you're like, oh. Especially how, like, Terry Goodkind, like, apparently went off the real deep end. I've never read any of his stuff either, but...
I would like to see a sort of a TV adaptation of, like, Shadowrun.
That'd be pretty good.
You do a lot with that. Although that is technically Bright, but Bright was like Shadowrun without any of the intelligence behind it.
Well, also didn't have a lot of the cyberpunk elements that Shadowrun has.
Yeah.
Shadowrun does have quite a bit of cyberpunk. You know what I really want to see, and it would be really great as a 1-season series, would be a Canticle for Leibowitz, but nobody knows who holds the rights to it, and I think it was like in some famous rocker's tell-all biography that Mick Jagger once said that he owned the rights. He got drunk or high or something and had his people buy the rights to it. But no one can confirm this if it's an urban legend or not, but nobody has adapted it. And I don't know why, because it spans several hundred years.
Do you like multiple series out of it?
No, I mean, you could do 1 series, because Francis's story is only the span of a lifetime. And then there's Tom Thaddeus, and then there's
I think the most natural way to adapt it would be 1 series per era.
Yeah, but I don't think you could find enough to fill an entire series.
Well, it doesn't have to be like a 20-episode thing. It could be like 4, 5, 6 episodes. Because one thing I've noticed, American TV is moving towards the British model of shorter series.
Okay, that's a good point. I'm thinking like the whole 26 to 32 episodes.
That's very uncommon now.
Yeah, that's true.
And even if that happens, generally they split into 2 mini-series and they sort of do two different things.
I could see 3 episodes each. 3 episodes a season. So you'd have Francis, Tom Thaddeus, and then Dom Zerchi.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I know they say this all the time, just read Canticle for Leibowitz. It was written in the 50s by Walter M. Miller, and it was, it was one of the first in the post-apocalyptic genre, and it's one of the best, quite honestly. I paid, I think, like $10, or $10, 10 pounds sterling to get a copy from Amazon UK, because apparently it's, like, obscure over here, but I'll reread it once every few years. Just do it. But anyway, Feast. We're going to watch the next 2.
We're doing a marathon. There's no alcohol this time. We've just got the
like
films.
The morning. Okay, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
And, it's only a 3-film one.
Hi, but I'm going out tonight.
What I really want to do is get, like, Robin or someone over and do something ridiculous, like all the Hellraisers or all the Friday the 13th. Or even if this is the grail of marathons, I want to do all of the extended Lord of the Rings and all of the extended Hobbits. In, like, chronological order.
That's like, isn't that over, like, 28 hours or so?
Yeah. Wow. That's why the point of these marathons is not just only to watch the film, but for the people who are watching it. And the first one gets all the views, which I think is a mistake, because generally the longer you go, the more incoherent the vlogs get and the funnier they get, especially if you're doing one that has, like, 7 parts at least.
Yeah, weren't you guys drinking for some of you were drinking for the Twilight Marathon?
Yeah, and Police Academy as well.
Right.
Yeah, you get long ones where people are drinking. The vlogs get funnier and funnier as they go on.
We did Police Academy, but I wasn't drinking because I had the flu. Remember?
Yeah, but there's alcohol though.
Yeah, that's true. I think we all had one, and then I had some lemon sip, and that was the story of that. Oh yeah, because that's the one where like we were thinking like, oh, how do you face Mecca if you're in space? Yes. Didn't someone comment that actually like elders of Islam have discussed this? And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's when we discussed that.
But anyway, so it ended, and we never got an explanation. But maybe in Feast 2,
and I might have missed it,
deepening the lore.
Because fair point. I've been.
You've been on Twitter following the saga of Jeremy Corbyn and Judas, which will really date this video.
Yeah, but also the Channel Awesome stuff that's been going on. So I've been looking through that. So I missed a couple of things in this one.
That's fine because I was playing.
Jason Mewes died at the very start in the initial attack.
Yeah.
Okay, and the barman, he didn't walk out at the end. Did I miss him being killed?
I didn't see him being killed, but then he's in all three, so it might be one of those kind of like. It's
twin.
Never explained why he's alive, but he just is like a force of nature kind of thing.
Okay, so we're gonna watch Feast 2, Feast Harder.
Feasting. Can we have lunch while we do it?
Or a mint feast, because you can also get a mint feast chocolate thing, which is like mint chocolate and chocolate and ice cream.
Sometimes I'm in the mood for mint chocolate, sometimes I'm not. It depends.
Turn the camera off.
I'll do the thing where you do with your hand.